to welcome you all to our weekly press briefing on behalf of the Minister, Deputy Minister, Management and Staff of the Ministry of Information and Communications. Today's briefing will be chaired by the National Publicity and Outreach Coordinator in the Office of the Government Spokesman, Mr. Abdullahi Berete. He is also going to update you on government activities and programs. Sitting close to him is Mr. Kwame Yangsin, who is Deputy Secretary in this ministry. We are expecting the Minister of Transport and Aviation to join us during the course of the proceedings. He is expected to give you an account of his recent visit to the US, where he met with officials from Delta Airlines. But we are not going to waste any further time. We'll go straight to business. And I'll now hand you over to the chairman, Mr. Abdullahi Berete.
Gentlemen, I welcome you to this weekly press briefing on behalf of the Minister and staff of the Ministry. Now, I'm going to start by extending our thanks to you, members of the Fourth Estate, because you were very much cooperative and also supportive in terms of disseminating information following the culvert that collapsed at Kinjimi a few days ago. The reason being, we lost 6 lives there. 3 were identified by their family members. The other 3, government was able to provide them with a befitting funeral, and so far we are able to mobilize all the response team from the emergency services, and government was able to provide a machine that was able to scavenge the collapsed mud to see if we can still have Sierra Leoneans under the debris. But I want to update you that the Office of the Vice President, who is in charge of the National Disaster Management Team, convened a meeting. All the stakeholders, including the NPA, etc. And so far, we are very much satisfied with the progress made in terms of emergency response. The Freetown City Council was able to provide with Regent Square, where we house some of those who were affected, and the total number of people affected stand at 615 people. But the population basically that we are housing at the Regent Square School is 120. That is about the total number of houses affected under that bridge was 32. Now, what we are doing is, we recognize that that is just a temporary location for them. So we are now negotiating with the Ministry of Transport to see if Hastings Airfield will be provided, so that the hangars that were there will be able to utilize them on a temporary basis, whilst at the same time providing therapeutic counseling to all those affected, because we don't buy into the argument that in the first place they were not supposed to have squatted under there. The reason being, that was not ideal for them. But that notwithstanding, we still perceive them to be Sierra Leoneans, and as a responsible government, we therefore took it upon ourselves to provide the necessary support needed. Also, you may also recall that His Excellency the President convened a meeting at State House where he invited the leadership of the Sierra Leone People's Party. That meeting was very important in the sense, whilst there is an internal wrangling within the Sierra Leone People's Party, we as a government will never interfere in resolving their internal impasse. Rather, if there is any potential that their own convention they are holding has the potential to spill over, particularly when Mr. Julius Maada Bio had indicated that he has authentic information that some of his colleagues in the party had imported mercenaries from Liberia. I think as a government, the president in his own wisdom requested them to make sure that they please conduct their convention without any rancor that may have the potential of undermining the security of the state. It is on that same token we must commend the Sierra Leone police for being very proactive when some insider members of the Sierra Leone People's Party gave a tip-off that Maada Bio or some of his security personnel had arms and ammunition stored in his possession. Well, the police with integrity went there and they were very honest to inform the public that no arms or ammunition were found. And this is where we must congratulate also Mr. Julius Maada Bio, because he was very cooperative with the police, and also the police had exonerated him that indeed he is not found wanting. So it is a win-win situation. But for us, we all know the Sierra Leone People's Party has always been saying they brought in this country, which of course to their credit, we must give that to President Ahmad Tijan Kabi. This government therefore has the responsibility to continue to strengthen the democracy, our peace and security. So having said that, I will not repeat. The President did attend the International Youth Day, wherein he reiterated his commitment to particularly the youth of this country. And we all know when he indicated on December 14, 2012, that he was going to dedicate the second term to the youth, he had translated that promise into reality. The reality being, now we have secured about $30 million from the Chinese towards the construction of a youth village. And also, we know the recent visit he made to China was also to generate direct foreign investment in this country, whereby the youth stand to benefit immensely. So that was why he was also part and parcel in celebrating the International Youth Day at the Miata Conference. Having said that, it is now my pleasure to welcome somebody that is the Honorable Minister of Transport and Aviation. All of you know him. You usually call him Lobus. With Delta Airlines in the United States, as well as having high-level meeting with the World Bank, we are honored to have Mr. Leonard Balogun Kuruma, the minister, who will come and tell us what is in the kitty for our beloved country. Honorable Minister, sir.
We'll start with the first issue, that is implementing the ban on right-hand drive vehicles. The ban on right-hand drive vehicles is a law. It's an existing law. Section 73 of the Road Traffic Regulation 2011 clearly states that no right-hand drive vehicle shall be registered or allowed to operate on our roads in this country. It's a law. So all the people who are presently driving right-hand drive vehicles are violating the law. Plain and simple. Secondly, it is also violating ECOWAS protocols to which Sierra Leone is signatory. And that protocol to which we are signatory, as I said, has been implemented by Nigeria, by Ghana, and by other ECOWAS states. So why should Sierra Leone be left behind? We have a forward-looking and result-oriented president who has waged a war on indiscipline, who has waged a war on lawlessness. So how can we sit down and see people violating the laws of the land? The law is supreme, and it protects the majority of Sierra Leoneans. Of all the interviews that I've listened in the past few days, the majority of Sierra Leoneans are in favor of the ban. Because, one, it is illegal. Number two, it's a safety issue. It contributes to road accidents on the highway. It contributes to injury to Sierra Leoneans, because those of the right-hand drive vehicles that are operating as passenger transport, instead of putting down passengers on the curb side of the road, which is the right thing to do, they are putting up passengers in the middle of the road. And those passengers are exposed to all kinds of hazards. These are Sierra Leoneans, and they have equal protection under the law. Recently, a terrible accident took place in which 17 people were killed on the spot. It was a right-hand drive. So how can we sit down? People are asking me, oh, your predecessors were here, they lie low, they kept this issue low. My predecessors are my predecessors. Locus Koroma is locus. I implement and defend my convictions. And in the process of acting in the interest of the majority, the few may not like what you're doing. The few may be dissatisfied with what you're doing. If President Koroma was not a man who acted on his convictions, we would not have had Wilkinson Road today. We would not have had Spur Road today. Because there were people who were telling him, oh, we don't have the money, and it is not possible. Technically, based on our engineering studies, it is not possible. Wilkinson Road cannot be converted into a 4-lane road. So politicians must be able to stand by their convictions and do and stand by whatever they believe in. So I believe, and the director of the Sierra Leone Roads Authority also believes, we are working together on this, that the law imposing the ban on right-hand drive vehicles must be implemented. It should have been implemented a long time ago. We are late in implementing it. We are very late. But anyway, better late than never. So this law, we have put measures in place, because I've had a lot of people say, oh, it's not possible. It's not going to happen. The minister is wasting his time. They don't know locus Koroma. Because when I stand by something, I must achieve. That is why I plan before I speak. Together with the director of the SLITA, we have established a Road Transport Authority Service Center at the ports. So immediately your right-hand drive vehicle gets off the ship after September 1st, in conformity with Section 73 of the Road Regulation Act of 2011, it will not be registered. That's what the law says. I hear people say they are going to court. Let them go to court, they will lose. Because this is the law. It will not be registered. And it cannot ply our routes. We're simply going by what the law says and what the ECOWAS principles to which we are signatory says. So what that service center is going to do, immediately your car gets off the ship, they will license it temporarily for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, you will go and apply for your permanent license. So if you are not issued with a temporary license, I don't see how you can be issued with a permanent license. So plain and simple. We are cutting off the source of the right-hand drive vehicles. If you want to cut off a stream or a river, cut off the source. So once we make sure that no more right-hand drive vehicles are coming into the country, then we will address the issue of the right-hand drive vehicles already in the country, a good number of them. But we did not want to appear to be unrealistic, so we separated the implementation. First, we are going to stop the source. Secondly, we are going to address the ones that are already in the country. Now, if you have shipped your vehicle before the 1st of September, so I'm appealing to our brothers and sisters in the United Kingdom, which I believe accounts for about 80% of the right-hand drive vehicles that are coming into this country, that they have 2 more weeks to ship their vehicles. So we have given them time, 2 more weeks. They can ship whichever right-hand drive vehicles they want to ship, and as long as they have documentary evidence to prove that they were shipped before September 1st, they will be cleared, and they will be registered, and they will have 12 months. After the 12 months, I hear people say it's not going to be implemented. Well, in the developed world, particularly in America, you pay for everything, every violation. If they say 60 miles an hour, you go 70, you pay, in addition to points on your license. If you violate the stop sign, you pay, etc., etc. So we are going to introduce that in Sierra Leone. If you drive your right-hand drive vehicle after September 1st, 2014, you pay 5 million leons for that violation. So everybody who knows that will not drive their vehicle because they will not risk it. So we have ways of addressing issues of discipline. The political will is there. It has been exhibited by our president, Dr. Ernest Michael. And we as his disciples are simply following his example. So that on the issue of the right-hand drive vehicles. On August 5th, I was in the United States of America with a delegation from Sierra Leone, in which the Minister of Information and Communication was a member, to meet with the Senior Vice President for Africa and executive members of Delta Airlines in furtherance of a meeting that had been held in 2011 between President Ernest Bai Koroma and Delta Airlines for the purposes of looking into the possibility of extending Delta Airlines flight to Sierra Leone, which would be the first direct transatlantic flight from the United States of America to Sierra Leone by a major U.S. airline. The meeting was at the instance of Delta Airlines. And there was one thing that the Senior Vice President of Delta said that stood out. He said that, and I quote, "The growth rate of Sierra Leone is the envy of the world." This is coming from the Senior Vice President of Delta. Sierra Leone's growth rate is the envy of the world. So, we are in a country that is endowed with so much, that is envied, that is respected by people all over the world. Although some Sierra Leoneans have the attitude of trying to cry down their country. Our country is respected because we have respected leadership. We have decisive leadership. We have a result-oriented president who is moving the country forward. Sierra Leone has been predicted to have an annual growth rate of 15% a year for the next 10 years. So it's just a matter of time. We'll get there. The agenda for prosperity is not meaningless. It was well thought out. It is an agenda that is going to take Sierra Leoneans from poverty into prosperity. And the foundation is there. It is already there, as has been evidenced by the statement from the senior vice president of Delta Airlines, and also from the American ambassador to Sierra Leone, with whom I had a meeting yesterday, and also from the representative ambassador of the European Union in Sierra Leone, with whom I also benefited from a courtesy call this morning. So Delta Airlines have asked us for some statistics, which we have given to them. We might likely be getting a delegation from them shortly to look at our airports and the services and arrangements that we have in place. But what we asked them to do is to extend, because right now they have 2 flights to Monrovia a week, and we've asked them to add 1 or 2 flights instead of terminating in Monrovia to Accra from the United States, that will terminate in Freetown. So we are very optimistic that this will come to reality, that it will come to fruition. So I will again appeal to pessimistic Sierra Leoneans to be optimistic. That's yes, we can achieve. I also used the opportunity during my visit to the US to pay a visit to the World Bank. The World Bank in Washington is involved in various development assistance programs with various ministries in Sierra Leone, but more so to my ministry, the Ministry of Transport and Aviation. There is the airport component, in which they assisted in upgrading the runway in 2011. In 2013, they have provided generators, one 800 kVA and another 600 kVA for airport operations. They are assisting with capacity building, qualified staff. They are assisting with evaluation and technical studies. Same goes for the Ports Authority. There is the port component, where they are also assisting with dredging of the ports. They are assisting with studies related to the extension of berthing facilities at the ports. They are also assisting with capacity building at the ports. Country, they assisted in rehabilitating the Makeni-Matutoka Road in 2011, and also the Bokenema Highway in 2011. So I was there to thank them for all what they are doing in Sierra Leone, and I impressed upon them that the transport ministry is so intertwined, is so relevant to the economic success of Sierra Leone and to the realization of the agenda for prosperity. We cannot transport them. How do we get the revenue to finance all these programs, all these developmental programs? So the new airport that is going to be constructed at Mamama is intended to ease the traffic, the problems associated with getting to Lungi Airport, but also to open up the country to more airlines that will fly to Sierra Leone and bring in more. As the ultimate solution, the introduction of light rail along the coast that could also be utilized by the Ports Authority, where we also have a looming congestion. If you go down the ports these days, both at the entry point, going to Service Square, and the exit point around Kanike, all is clogged up with trucks, with loaded containers and empty containers. Something has to be done. The Ministry of Transportation is urgent. We are in urgency because issues that affect this ministry are so tied up to the economic development of Sierra Leone and to the realization of the agenda for prosperity. and I'm here to deliver. I promise you that. Thank you.
Minister, now, ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me that indeed Sierra Leone is on the verge of moving forward. And this is where strategically the introduction of the agenda for prosperity, some people are saying, this prosperity, when are we going to realize it? Today is a further indication that the road to prosperity, the transport ministry, is virtually leading the way, because when we talk about tourist attraction to any country, you must have a viable airport. When you have tourist attraction to any country, you take into account how many hours am I going to spend on air before I get to my destination. And if today we are on the verge of getting direct flights from the US straight to Sierra Leone, I think we must all be proud of that initiative, particularly when we have more airlines coming here. The other ripple benefit we'll have is it will trickle down the prices of tickets that will enable us to be flying as often as possible. The minister has already indicated something about the banning of right-hand vehicles, but the executive director who is overseeing particularly the registration of such vehicles is also here, Dr. State.
And we are in the haste to achieve. So the transport ministry is pivot in this agenda for prosperity. You all will agree with me that transportation is very key in all of this, because we need to transport our goods and services to where we want them to be effectively used. But in a bid to achieve this, the transport ministry is keen in saving lives. We are keen in saving lives, in addressing the end decade of action for road safety. And the right-hand drive vehicles are becoming a threat to our economy. Because you all will agree with me that our roads are not designed for that. Our roads are not designed for right-hand drive, but for left-hand drive vehicles. Hence, I will give you the background. I would have loved if we have a projector so that you flow with me. But if that is not available, left-hand drive vehicles in 1971 to comply with the systems in the other West African countries. Over the years, the practice has become deeply rooted in our motoring habits, culminating in the construction of roads and road signs that reflect this shift. There is currently a high propensity to import right-hand vehicles, mostly from Europe and America. The number of such vehicles has risen dramatically over the last 5 years. These include trucks, buses, cars, vans, and even trailers. Vehicles constructed for driving on the left-hand side of the road have their steering wheels on the right side, while vehicles constructed for driving on the right-hand side of the road have their steering wheels located on the left side of the vehicle. The steering positions designed in each case evidently indicates that the driver is positioned in the vehicle so that he is in the middle of the roadway as he drives along. This position gives the driver a clear view of the road, whether in a left-hand drive vehicle or right-hand drive vehicle. Driver of the right-hand drive vehicle. A driver of a right-hand drive vehicle, therefore, in our current system of traffic, has limited view of the road ahead, especially when driving behind a truck or long goods vehicle. The closer he is behind a truck or long goods vehicle, he is unable to see hand signals given by the driver in front. Overtaking is extremely risky and dangerous for the right-hand vehicle driver. I have available statistics here to let you see how the use of right-hand drive is increasing in the country. Available statistics of right-hand drive vehicles for the year 2011 to 13 up to June this year, 2013 January to June. In 2011, we licensed about 500 vehicles, right-hand drive vehicles. Total crashes, 250. In 2012, 700 was vehicles were licensed. The total crashes, 298. Then January this year to June 2013, 850 vehicles licensed, and the number of crashes were 325. So you agree with me that there is a linear increase in the trend of right-hand drive vehicles. To be a consequence of the reduced direct field of view of drivers of right-hand drive vehicles, especially to see oncoming traffic when making a left turn, changing lanes, pulling away from a curb. We've noted that right-hand drive are becoming popular and present greater safety risk. What is wrong with right-hand drive? It poses safety concern and air pollution. They are distracting to other motorists. How distracting? When you are driving, facing an oncoming vehicle, mostly consciously or unconsciously, the driver will want to see the other driver in the vehicle. But when you look, swift look, you will note that there is no driver on the steering wheel, where the steering wheel should be, i.e. the left-hand side of the vehicle. Then it will cause you to look deeper into the vehicle and see the driver on the other side of the vehicle. That causes distraction. So when moving, vehicle moving in opposite direction, drivers consciously or unconsciously want to see the next driver in the other vehicle. So it causes distraction to other motorists. These cars are not designed for our roads and thus pose a greater safety risk in this country than the left-hand drive vehicle. The driver's eye contact with oncoming and other drivers is also impaired if he or she is seated on the wrong side of the vehicle. I have a few cases here, or pictures of accident cases of right-hand drive vehicle. This accident was caused by overtaking. When you are using right-hand drive vehicle, it's difficult for you to overtake because you are not seeing the oncoming vehicle, except if you have the passenger to ask, please look on the other side for me if there is a vehicle coming. Because you are at the extreme corner, you are not able to see, have a clear view of the road. So this accident was caused by overtaking, killed 7 people and several seriously injured. And the most recent case was 17. It was not caused by overtaking but drinking and driving. Then I have a photo here of a truck fully loaded, overloading, right-hand drive. You know. Then, because of all this, we've invoked the Section 73 of the Traffic Regulation 2011, which the minister has just stated, that no motor vehicle shall be registered, used or allowed to be used if the steering apparatus of the motor vehicle is fitted on the right-hand side of the vehicle. Purchasers, these vehicles present a greater risk on our roads. Be aware. This one, we are going to effect it to the letter. So it behoves all of us to tell our relatives that this law is going to be effected. There is no backward, forward, no in and out of it. We are going to pursue it to the end because it's for our own lives. We know that the left-hand vehicles too are causing accidents, but we want to address this so that we'll have a clear view on what our traffic is and try to address our traffic situation, rather than some of us trying to deviate, our traffic to something else. Our traffic is not designed for right-hand drive vehicles. Our traffic is designed to use left-hand drive vehicles. I thank you.
The permanent secretary is also with us here, which means as I open the question and answer session, if some of the questions may not be answered here because of time, you can always feel free to go to the Transport Ministry or the Office of Government Spokesman who will endeavor to respond. Now it's time for question and answer session.
And I work with Concept Multimedia, and I'm also a freelance journalist both in the States and also in Sierra Leone. Presently, I'm asking the question because even today I engaged some of the drivers, and one driver was telling me today that he was a brother of him borrowed him the car, and for him to pay back in less than in 6 months' time. Now the question will be, if I have already been given a car as for rent, for driving the main street of Freetown, which has been licensed, and I'm supposed to pay someone 4 million or 5 million leaves, and it happens to be you've given in 12 months' time, according to you, and I did not be able to meet that deadline. Don't you think that will cause a problem wherein those people will be taken to court, and there will be a series of problems? And the other issue is, why now? Because people are saying, why now? If they know people were dying, people were, this was a problem. Why now? Why is it now? Why did the ministry think that this is important now? Thank you.
Problem. And now we are going to ban right-hand vehicles. I don't know if the ministry have put in modalities in place for transport vehicles.
The question is for the Minister of Transport and Aviation. People are arguing out there that it is as a result of the latent nature of the SLRA that resulted to the collapsing of the Kennedy Bridge.
Allow people coming into the country, if there is a possibility of converting this right-hand driving to left-hand driving, if there is the possibility, if you can allow that, I don't know how you see that.
My own question is with regards now banning, right-hand driving. Does this serve as a revitalization of improvement in terms of the traffic lighting system in this country?
I was on the program about 2 days ago, and he said that you are bringing this ban down, but I've invested in about 4 or 5 right-hand drive vehicles, and I'm going to lose my money. Well, the people of Sierra Leone are losing their lives. You are losing money. The law is not a respecter of persons. If you violate the law, you must suffer the consequences. So we have given 12 months. I think that is reasonable enough. In fact, some people are saying it's too much. But we don't think it is too much. We think that 12 months is reasonable enough. So if you have to pay for the car, just add to the debt the cost of changing it to left-hand drive. And then you continue to pay. You continue to be in business. second question, and also he asked, why now? Why now? Well, you have a different minister who has the political will to work with the SLIT and to implement it. You see, I've always said during the last political campaigns that we have presidents who come, who occupy State House, they go to work every morning, and go home in the evening, and they are only remembered for the period of time they are in office. They have no tangible results. President Nkrumah has been there for 5 years, and look at what Sierra Leone has achieved. So, this is a different minister, a result-oriented minister who has the political will to do the right thing. That is why you are having it now. The second question is from Abibato of Awoko. She's talking about transportation problems. Yes, we have transportation problems. Why are you telling us that the majority of the transportation vehicles on the road are right-hand drive vehicles? If that is the case, then they still have another 12 months to change to left-hand drive. You just had the information that I was just given by the director of SLRT. If you are driving right-hand drive vehicle and you are dead right, and an approaching vehicle from the other side of the road is on the left side of the road, how do you see it? And you are overtaking. And most of our roads up in the provinces are not dual carriageways. They are two-lane roads, oncoming and the vehicle that is going forward. So it increases the risk of accidents. What if you are going to ask the passenger on your left whether a vehicle is coming and the passenger is sleeping? What do? And you are at top speed. Let us don't play with people's lives. This is a very serious issue, and we must take it seriously. Question 3 is from Alaji Koroma of the AUG, and he was talking about negligence of the SLI. Sorry, I'm not the Minister of Roads and Infrastructure. I'm the Minister of Transport and Aviation. It has to do with transportation, but it does not have to do with the maintenance of roads and bridges. That is SLIA and the Ministry of Infrastructure Works. I'm sure my colleague in that ministry, a dynamic minister also, will be able to address your question if you direct it to him. Question 4 was George from KSTV. Of course, he was asking about whether there is a possibility to convert the vehicles from right hand to left hand. I hear that Sierra Leoneans and Nigerians are also already looking into the possibility of importing the technology of converting from right to left. So any businessman who is worth his salt will be thinking about that right now, about investing in the technology to convert from right to left. Because just as the director said that we are determined, we are determined. We should not be proud of living in a country or being part of a country that say, let them pass the law no more, you're not going to walk. You're not going to walk. That is not the type of Sierra Leone that we have now. This is going to work. If after the 1st of September 2014, and I'm minister, you don't convert, you will park your vehicle in your yard. Because if you bring it into the streets, they will fine you such a hefty fine. The traffic wardens are already there. We will only increase the number and we'll have the money to pay them. But if you drive a right-hand drive vehicle after September 1st, 2014, you are issued with a ticket. Just as you are issued with a ticket if you violate the stop sign in America, or if you overspeed in America. In fact, even in Sierra Leone, I think overspeeding tickets should be introduced. We must restore sanity in this country if we are serious about governance and we are serious about the seriousness of our president, Dr. Nkrumah, in governing this country. We must restore sanity. I'm serious about it. And the last question was for Saliu Sise, Sierra Leone Online. He was talking about the bearing of the RT Road Transport Authority in relation to an effective licensing system. Traffic lights. Yes, that is on our agenda. If you listen to my address at the SLRTA retreat in Bo, when was that, Dr. Pedro? About 2 months ago. About 2 months ago, I highlighted 7 objectives that I would like to see implemented by the Sierra Leone Road Transport Authority for as long as our minister. And already we have achieved about 2 or 3 of them. We have introduced the toll-free line, 2244. We have opened a service center at the Key. And now we are implementing the ban on right-hand drive vehicles. The others are coming. And I would assure you that with the cooperation that I'm having from our dynamic director of the Road Transport Authority, who recently won an award at State House, a performance tracking award, I want to assure you that we will get there. Thank you.
Has been in existence, how long? And to the director, if this law has been in existence, do you agree that the system was not working at your authority?
We point on conversion, which is an automobile concern. This is a third world country. You allowed so many people to come in. And you chopped the revenue. Now, what involves there is changing the steering and the dashboard, which will be difficult for us to get because we don't have capture that. No best.
Minister of Transport, don't you think that the notice is very short? Why can't you give them up till December 31st? And also,
before resolving to ban right-hand vehicles within the country, have you ever had any meeting or meetings with members or executive members of the Motor Drivers Union and other stakeholders? And if yes, what was their response, or what has their response been so far? Because it's in the Act and the regulation. We are just being kind to, educate people on the essence of banning the use of right-hand drive. But it's in the Act, and even our traffic will tell you that right-hand drive is not for Sierra Leone. So now, because of the continuous linear increase in the trend of this right-hand drive vehicle, the use of this right-hand drive vehicle, that was what made us to make it a pronouncement, to bring it to the notice of the public that we are going to enforce. But since 1971, there was no need. After that, all the vehicles were left-hand drive vehicles. But gradually, because these vehicles are very cheap on the market out there, you think this is a dumping ground. Sierra Leone is not a dumping ground. We have our rules and regulations. We have laws binding all of us, and that's what we are trying to enforce. So it's not a new thing, though. The traffic regulation in 2001, 2011, tried to enforce it again. So we called, in fact, the drivers' union we are talking about, the motor drivers, the motor vehicle dealers, the garage owners, they were all parts of it. They were all parts of it. So together, we amend the Act. The Act was amended together with them. So they are fully aware. But in Sierra Leone, we like to take chances. And this time, there is no room for that. We want a decent country. We want to save more lives. And so this is just an opportunity we are giving you. It's a favor we are doing to the nation. But we can come tomorrow and say, this is what the country wants. And we all need to go by it. Or it's already in the Act. So that's answer that question.
by Alpha Cargo of Weekly Express. He's saying that we are in the third world. This is a third world country. Sierra Leone is moving from that position. Don't you hear the pronouncements of President Anis Baikoma? And you still insist that we are a third world country? We are moving beyond that nomenclature. Please, it's not going to be difficult. Let's have the will as Sierra Leoneans. There's prosperity in this country. I've just told you we have billions of tons of iron ore on the ground. All we need is to transport it at a faster pace. And this country will be another Dubai or Kuwait. So please be optimistic. Thank you. Question 8, Benjamin Pratt of the Sierra Leone News Agency. He was saying that the time is too short, December 31st. If we say December 31st, we will have 2,000 or 5,000 right-hand drive cars here. But we've given them 2 weeks. From now, today is what? 15th? Yes, to September 1st. So, in fairness to Sierra Leoneans who might have already bought those cars, you can ship them in the next 2 weeks. They will be cleared and registered. But after the 1st of September, we are sorry. They will not be registered in conformity with the law. This is not violating any law, it is the law. It is only a matter of implementation. And then Princess Williams of AYB, that has been answered. Whether consultations, extensive consultations were held. Government is a continuous process. And I inherited something that has been going on. But as I said, maybe in the past, my predecessors did not have the political will to implement it. You see, as a politician, as long as you are popular with the majority, you can be unpopular with the minority. That is acceptable. Thank you.
I thank you very much, sir, and your team, Dr. Silabendo, your peers, and you colleagues in the 4th Estate for honoring our kind invitation. I therefore bring the podium down.